Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is another day, and the sun is out, but if you look on my left, it looks like it might rain or something. So I'm hoping that's just overcast, because I don't know about you. If you live in Virginia, you're quite done with rain and any kind of moisture, whether it's frozen or not, falling from the sky. So, yeah. Anywho, so I've covered a whole lot of things on the process of your spiritual journey, because there's nothing worse than going through this and being alone and feeling alone. And if you feel like the people that you love and care for just simply don't understand what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and the list goes on, and what you're going through, then it's not their fault, and it's certainly not your fault, because you are meant to go through a journey. Everybody does. I mean, if you look in history and cultures, there's okay, that's new. A lot of cultures will they'll go off, like Native Americans, they'll go on a spirit walk. And they go out in the wilderness, and in that wilderness, they discover who they truly are. They discover their strengths, their weaknesses. They go out alone, and they battle the elements, or they coexist with the elements. I mean, not one spirit journey is the same as the other. Meaning, people can write books about their journeys and their experiences and their perceptions, but it's not going to be like yours verbatim. Feeling for feeling, experience for experience is not going to be the same. Like, for instance, I have more than one kind of animal that calls to me. And they all have significant meanings for me. For different cultures and lores. I'm just listing a few. The crow, raven, and owl and falcon. Mainly the falcon. I've seen falcons a lot lately. Ever since I turned 30 years old, I've been seeing falcons everywhere where I go. Crows and ravens are not as frequent as they used to be, I guess, as per se, as when in my 20s. During my 20s, crows and ravens were everywhere I went. Everywhere I went. I even had somewhat of a pet, raven. I fed it. I would feed it when I was in the parking lot of my old job at Walmart. And it was the same one, because it had this one distinct gray, like obvious slate gray feather on its chest, and it laid like right there. And it's given me little presents, which I thought crows only did that. I have like little odds and ends, little stones, rocks, bottle caps, string, sticks, and flowers, or like a blade of grass or something. But I've always resonated with birds, for the most part. Other than that, another animal totem that normally crosses my path, and I do not get sprayed, is a skunk. Don't know why. Skunk. Yeah, I know, right? But it's just because it's a stinky animal doesn't mean it's a bad animal. It's how it defends itself. Wolves and bobcats. Yep. But anywho, just because you get a message, does not necessarily mean that it's for everybody else. Like, I'm going through a trials and tribulation kind of thing right now. I'm learning patience. I'm not a patient person when it comes to things that I desire. Like, for instance, getting this certain kind of home that I really want. Ideally, I want a house. Ideally, I want a house. But my husband and I are not in the right position to obtain that. Plus, with any kind of first homeowners kind of loan, we're in the middle of a government shutdown, and there's a lot of people that are waiting for their homeowners loan for a home. They're in limbo. And I'm not saying that I'm for or against the shutdown. I'm saying there are people affected by it, and it freaking sucks. So I'm on the fence when it comes to politics, and I am not talking about politics here. So, but if you do want to talk about politics with me, find me on Facebook, and I may or may not respond to it, because politics and opinions in politics are like assholes. Everyone's got one. Some sting worse than others. Yeah. But anyways, when you become self-aware, you actually realize how singular your existence is. But in the same note, you're going to realize that you are more connected with everyone and everything than you realize. You get to the point where you can't be mad at people that show aggression for no reason. No good reason, really. Like road rage. I think that's the most pointless rage ever. How are you going to be angry when somebody drives in a way that you don't like, or it doesn't mesh with you? I follow the law of the land when it comes to driving. I follow the rules of the road. I drive defensively, and I'm constantly looking at my mirrors. I anticipate idiots and mayhem when I'm driving. When someone cuts me off, I'm not gonna get mad. When I'm in a parking lot, that's different, because you have any idea how many people can get into accidents and problems and altercations in a parking lot where cars are standing still? I've lost count in my entire lifetime of driving. I wanted that spot. I'm sorry, there's a whole parking lot to choose from. Oh, but what if there's no parking spots left? There are some way over yonder. Go have one and walk. Walking is not always a problem. Just walk. Well, what if there are no handicap spots? Then I really don't know what to say to you. I'm sorry. Really? It sucks. Oh, but someone took a magic marker and drew on their car. You start to subconsciously pick and choose your battles. Like I've said in one of the previous videos, picking and choosing your battles. You pick and choose what is worth the upset. You pick and choose what is worth to get your dander up. Like if someone's taking advantage of you, do what you feel is right in a matter of way you think you should stand up for yourself. Like, hey, I don't like it when blah, 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 blah. Why can't we share the load? Or why can't we work together? Or why do I always have to do this? Or something. What about exacting some teamwork? Yada, 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 you know? Stand up for yourself if you feel you're taken advantage of. Or why do you always come to me and feel like I gotta fix all your problems? Like, things like that. Or if you have friends that take advantage of you, like, for instance, let's say you're always taking a friend out to eat. Now, if they legitimately don't have money to go out to eat with you or things like that, that's one thing. But if you find out and know for a fact they have money and they just don't want to pay to go out to eat, you've got to, I mean, a lot of people don't like asking for money or bringing up the subject of money when it comes to going out or anything like that, when it comes to taking a friend out or going out with friends, you know, like if you're not sure you're either paying Dutch or paying for them, it's good to ask, like, hey, did you want to pay Dutch? Did you want to go Dutch? Like, did you want to split this up? Or don't be ashamed. I know money makes the world go round, and truth be told, it shouldn't be that way, but it is what it is, sadly. But during this process, you do end up picking and choosing what is worth a negative emotion. There is such a thing as acknowledging the emotion and the stimulus that you don't really care for much, and just letting it roll off your back like water on a duck's feather, you know? Letting it roll off your back and then go on your merry way. It happens. So you just gotta trust your instincts. And if you want your instincts to be good and of light and positivity, you have to harbor and hold tight to the positivity and the light. It is hard in this day and age, but once you make it a habit of staying positive, things get much more easier. At this point, you practice the previous lessons that I've stated. You practice and practice and practice. I always recommend this. You download the app on your phone called Calm, C-A-L-M, Calm. And you do the 7 days of calm. And if you do that every day for 5-10 minutes, you would be surprised with how much of a difference you have. You'd be surprised how well you can handle your emotions and control them, how well you can handle and control your thoughts, how well you can control and handle yourself entirely. Control what is internally or externally stimulating a negative thing that's going on. And pretty soon you'll be able to face the most troubling of things. Like, I used to have serious driving anxiety. Doing the 7 days of calm and practicing that and facing all this, facing the driving anxiety and getting behind this wheel and just driving because I had a car accident. I was terrified to get behind the wheel ever again, but people believed in me, so that gave me the little nudge and push, like, hey, this was not your fault. This was not your fault, so, yeah. And you did your best. And I've had, even the defensive driving school instructors told me, when I told her what happened, she said, you did your best. Given the amount of time you had to make a decision, the safest decision on what was going to keep everyone alive and uninjured, you did great. And I'm like, but legally, she said, legally they had to write you a ticket because you crossed the wrong side of the road in order to avoid things. But if you went the other way, you would have smashed into someone's house and could have killed somebody. I'm like, yeah. People were home. Lights were on. I just, But with enough practice and patience and dedication to facing my fear and facing my anxiety, I was able to overcome the driving anxiety. And I'm at the point where, I drive unless I have to, because it's not because I don't like driving. I love driving. I do. It's the other people. It's all boiled down to, I just can't stand how other drivers are because they're dangerous. They're not paying attention. They're screwing around with their phones or their radio or looking at themselves in the mirror or fiddling with something, or they're an asshole driver and they just want to be first and get in front of everyone and speed and get there as fast as they can. Hell be damned if they hurt anybody or themselves or wreck their car or someone else's property. There's all kinds of reasons behind why people do it. But thing is, everyone has some kind of anxiety when they're driving. If you can't tell, just watch how people drive. They're not with it. They're not thinking when they drive. They don't. Hell, they don't even use their signal if they need to go anywhere. They don't drive properly. Nobody really does. I feel like if you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. That's my mentality, but not everyone has that. But we're all in this together, and if you realize someone else is going through a spiritual path, giving someone, some feedback and talking about it all and spending time with each other, it's very advisable, even though we love to seclude ourselves a little bit. Please don't seclude yourself. As much as comforting as it is to unplug for a second and just relax a bit, it is comforting, but truth be told, we need you out here. We need you out and about, in public. We will see your light. We will feel your warmth, your energy. And when someone says namaste, it means that they recognize that you're a spiritual being. My spiritual being recognizes your spiritual being. The worst feeling for us is to feel like we're alone in this, and we're not. We're not. And a lot of people end up secluding themselves into a certain clique or guild or coven or group. And that's when we start getting ego. When you start getting into a club-like thing. You grow an ego. You do become prideful of the group that you're in and about you and yourself. And you end up falling in a clique. You don't do that. You gotta be yourself. Don't try to be like everybody else. It's all well and good to get into have a nice circle of friends that do the same thing you do, but don't try to be like each other. Because you don't know if you are exactly what somebody needs in their life to shake them up, turn them around, and wake them up. You don't know. You don't know. You don't. But if you're too busy being somebody else, you're trying to fit a certain clique, you'll miss that opportunity of your calling. You'll omit and push everything out. Like, no, I want to be like this, I want to be like this, I want to be like so-and-so. And you don't know that you're going to cross someone's path where they need who you are and what you can do. You don't know. So don't deprive anyone of that. And don't deprive yourself of that. Because that's unneeded stress. And when you're going through this spiritual journey, trust me, you won't be short of any stresses. But you'll be able to handle them graciously. And you'll be able to cope with them. The key word in dealing with all this new stuff, good and bad, is the key of coping. Coping, dealing, and moving on. So, I hope that helps you out. Good luck. And if you need to talk, or you need to contact me with me and, try to get, a sense of, I guess find your jive, I'm more than happy to talk with you. You can find me on here, on YouTube, and you can find me on Facebook. So, love and light to you all, and I wish we all have a really good day today.